Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Chairman Whitehouse for calling this subcommittee hearing, and I think he is my friend, as he knows, and I'm looking forward to working with him and every member of this committee on both sides of the table and the aisle on the issues before this committee. Before I begin my prepared remarks, I'll make an observation. It's been my experience that senators generally approach hearings in one of two ways, sometimes both, but generally one or two. To make a point or to learn. Sometimes both, but usually it's one or the other. And I'm certainly not criticizing either approach. I've used both. I came here today to learn. And I want to listen and intend to listen very carefully to our distinguished witnesses. I did want to make a few formal points for the record. I think that all of us, both Republicans and Democrats and independents, can agree that our people deserve the very best government we can give them. As a result of human frailty, sometimes they don't always get the government they deserve. We're here today to look at the connection of money in our federal judiciary. The debate over money in politics is not new. But I think the partisan, I'll call it bickering in Congress over the Supreme Court and other federal benches has almost reached a fever pitch. During the last administration, I personally witnessed an unprecedented level of vitriol. Leveled at Justice Brett Kavanaugh and Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Their confirmation proceedings at times became circuses without a tent. And if I never see any genitalia-shaped headgear in my life, I can die a happy man. I was disappointed in that. Other nominees for federal judgeships have also been targeted, and nominees have been targeted for their personal beliefs, including their belief with respect to human life and when it begins. And I hope that in this Congress we can do better, and I mean that sincerely. I don't mean that to be a political statement. I think a balance has to be struck. I have many friends on the Democratic side that decry the influence of money when it comes to influencing the government. I have many friends on the Republican side who decry the same thing. But I would observe it's important to keep in mind that in criticizing someone, it's important to take a look at both sides. And there have been days here in Washington when I have believed or observed that if it weren't for double standards, we wouldn't have any standards at all. And that's not a good thing, because the American people may not read Aristotle every day. They don't have time, but they get it, and they know hypocrisy when they see it. Our First Amendment has to be honored, and that's something that I hope we can talk about today. People have a right in America to express their opinion. You're not free if you can't say what you think. You're just not. Now, there are reasonable limits on that, as there should be, but we've entered, I don't know, I hesitate to call it a cancel culture, but I can't think of a better term right now, where yes, you still have a right to express yourself, but it could cost you your job, or it could cost your spouse his job. And some people don't have thick skins. They're embarrassed when they're subject of tweets that trend on Twitter. And I think it's fair to say, for a variety of reasons, it's not limited to one political point of view or political persuasion. For a variety of reasons, we do live in a cancel culture, and I think we do need to be careful that you can technically say someone has a First Amendment right, but if they're canceled for exercising it, they really don't. On the issue of transparency, gosh, who can be against it? You know, but I think it has to be balanced with those First Amendment concerns. But I also want to make it clear, and this will be my final thought, I support transparency. I come from a state that, and there are other states like it. I'm not picking on Louisiana, but there have been times in my state's history, had it not been for transparency, some of our political leaders would have stolen everything that wasn't nailed down. And I'm not proud of that. That's not the case today, but there was a time. And I've always believed that the best way to resist temptation is a proper upbringing, a strong set of values, and witnesses. And that's all transparency is. So I don't want any of my remarks to be construed as not supporting that as an ideal. And once again, I thank you, Mr. Senator, Chairman, General, White House, for calling this hearing today.